Hey there, in our last stream we did some wildlife in Emerald AI. Just some background stuff as you can see here, although we did have a bit of fun and make the wolves eat the sheep. So let's have a look how we did it. Let's get started. What animals have we got? I haven't yet done the bear, so no, the wolf I think is what we'll do. So create a new scene. And scene. And we'll call that wolf. So this is just my work environment at the moment. This is where I wire things up and get them together and working. So later we'll move them into the real scene. So let's go and get our wolf prefab. Oh, actually we need a terrain in here first. 3D object terrain. Okay, let's drop our wolf in. We'll go with an Arctic wolf and a dark wolf and a standard wolf. Okay, we'll wire all three of them up and see what we get. Okay, there's our wolves. He's got very red eyes, that dark one, hasn't he? Alright, so the first thing we need to do is open up the Emerald AI Setup Manager. And we're going to drop, we'll start with our wolf PBR, we'll drop him in there. We're going to drop him onto the AI tag and the AI layer. These are tags and layers that I'd previously set up. AI behavior, they're going to be cautious. I don't want them attacking the player. These are just background AI, so they're not going to be doing anything aggressive. So AI's confidence to be brave. If we attack them, they'll run away. Sorry, they will attack, but then they'll run away if you hit them too much. So we're good to go. So set up the AI. That says you're sure you want to do this because it actually makes some changes to the prefab itself. So that's all we'll do. We'll do the other two in a little moment. So we'll just do these first. Hey, I'm Ali. And hi, Ledshock. We were just chatting on Discord. I'm being very careful not to slag off the other asset that we were chatting about. It's frustrated me quite a lot this evening. I want to determine whether or not it's my error before I actually assume that it's the asset making a mess. All right, animations first. So let's go in and grab our FBX files. So I'm just going to throw a whole load of things in here just to get us going. Let's start with our idle breathe. These are going to be our main idle. So we'll drop that into the non-idle compat there. And then we've got a couple of other idles. So this setting up of Emerald is really tedious. It's really super easy though. So there's a lot of dragging and dropping. If you've not used it before, this might look like, well, how does he know what he's doing? It's because I've done it loads of times with loads of different assets, and it looks the same every single time. It's just different things that you're dropping in. So the first few times you do it, it's quite difficult, but keep an eye on up here, and it tells you exactly what you've got to do. So it says you've got to set up the animation tab. So I've done the idle one, click onto movement. These particular models, they're protofactor models. They don't have a huge amount of animations with them. So you have to reuse a lot of them. I just get it going quickly and then worry about getting it fine-tuned later on. As I was saying earlier, I don't actually use Emerald commonly in my final games. I use my own stuff. Okay, thanks, Ledshock. So it was in the top tier of the October Unity Mega Bundle. That will explain why my Emerald AI video got so much attention. So walk, turn left. It is actually worth the money. I mean, obviously that's relative as to whether or not you have that amount of money to spend on assets. I appreciate that not everybody does. If you do, it is worth the money. It's not quite what it promises to be. It promises to be a full AI system and it's going to do everything under the sun. It's not really true, but that's one of its strengths. It's not something that you have to really dig into deep to make it work. As you can see, I'm just kind of dragging things around here, and it's going to look reasonable by the time that I've finished. So when we get to these turn animations, you'll notice that I'm using the same ones that I did for the walk left and walk right animations, largely because this pack doesn't have alternatives. So there is the normal movement, and then combat movement. There is no special combat movement for this, so I can just click that button there, and it'll say, "You sure you want to copy these across from the normal movement?" Just say yes, and I'm done. So that's nice. Combat. I'm not actually going to be using combat for this particular use. It's background AI. But if I don't add combat in, it throws errors. So I will go find just one combat. Somewhere, is there an attack? Bite, there we go. And just drop that in so it isn't going to throw an error. And likewise for the hits and the death. Hit animation, there's death somewhere, there it is. And got hit front. And this one has hits from different directions. I'm not going to bother with those. Again, I'm not actually going to be attacking this. This is just to stop errors. All right, and then emotes, we don't need any. We might add the howl and things like that in later. So once you've done that, you click Create Animation Controller. And I'm going to go into my animations, create a wolf folder, and save it in here. Now, the good news is that once I've done this once, because it's the same animations for all 3 types of wolf, I can just get on with it and load this in. I don't have to do all the dragging and dropping again. All right, so I can go to up here, and it stopped telling me my animations are broken, but it now says I've got to go into my detection and tags and set up my detection settings. So I can go in here and go to detection options, and what is it asking me to do? I should have read it. Head transform, that's right. So for head transform, I can click this auto find, and it may find the right one. It's picked one up. It looks like it's the right one. It's called head, but we're just going to check, and indeed that is the right one. So we're good. So now we want to do a faction. So we go into here, come down to here, and we're going to say, what, an AI tag. You want to detect other AI, not water. And I think I'm good there, but this one doesn't apply, so that's good. And then faction, player reaction neutral, don't want him to attack, and he's not in the undead, he's in the animals. Okay, let's give him a relationship to other animals as friendly. Now, what I can do later, if I carry on with this, is I can have different types of animals, and the wolf, being a predator, might go after some of them, of course. But I just want to get it working and have them wandering around to start with. Currently aren't any melee attacks. So this is one of the errors that you get. I'm not going to be using it, but I do have to set it up. So I go to AI settings, combat, damage settings. So this just assumes that every AI you're going to create is going to want to actually attack. That's not true in my case, but I have no choice. So I just have to click that on and tell it, yeah, you're going to do the bite attack. I'm not going to worry about minute and damage because, as I say, it isn't actually going to attack. So now I go to my navigation tab and I bake my nav mesh. Oops. Oh, I didn't click. There we go. Baking. And once this is baked, if I've got everything right, I now have a wolf AI. These two are just going to be on the standard cycling animations that come with the Protofactor pack. Oh, let's sort the calendar out. Don't worry about this error. We'll come back to that in a moment. That is a known problem. Well, it's not really a problem. I know what it is, and we can go in and fix it. So he's idling at the moment. These are just on a loop. Ignore those. There he goes. He's walking. And I don't have a fly cam. So it would be better to be not in maximize. But that's okay. We'll sort that out in a minute. So he's working. So now let's do the others. And it's going to be much faster this time. We go to Wolf Dark PBR. We go to Emerald AI, we say Setup Manager, we drag it in, we set up the AI, layers and tags. We want him to be cautious, we want him to be brave, everything else stays the same. Good. And then we'll do the other one while we're here. Should be all set up, yep. So that's those two done. So we'll go back to the dark, we'll go to animations. And now, because we have that override controller already, we can go import animation profile. Hang on, no, we need to save the profile. It's not the controller we want, it's the profile. So go back to my animations, scroll down somewhere. Where do I get the profile from? Oh, export animation profile, it's right there. Going blind, which is always the case. So go into my wolf and just save that as wolf anim profile. And now I can go back and I can say, well, I don't need to do that. I need to drag it in. There it is. Drag it into, come on, into there. Import. Would you like to import the animation control? How many times do I have to say yes? Okay, so they've all come in, you see. And then I can go and do the other guy. Do exactly the same thing. So much faster than all the dragging and dropping. All right, so we do still have to set up the head and things like that. So we go to detection and settings. We know that if we auto head and it gets wolf head, we're good, because we checked it on the other one. So those two are good. And then we need to do the faction relations. So this needs to go to AI without the water. Oh, AI, not UI. There we go. That's all good. And then faction options. He's not undead, he's animal. And he's neutral to the player. And neutral to other animals. I wish you could save these as well. I haven't actually tried it. You can probably do the preset thing from within Unity. I haven't actually tried that. And then you just have to change the head transform, because that would change on a per model basis. One other to do. Oh yeah, combat damage. AI's settings. Oh, AI settings there. Combat damage. So the problem with this UI, I always seem to forget precisely where things are. So I can just leave it on the defaults. Remember, we're not going to be using it. I believe that is now set up. Let's try the presets thing. Oh, in fact, I can just copy the component, go here, paste it in. Let's see what happens. I've never tried this, so all the errors have gone. Hey, Adamaze. Good to see you, sir. I assume you're a sir. My apologies if I'm making a bad assumption. All right. Where was I? Oh, I need to do the head, because the head transform is currently going to be set in the wrong model, I would presume. Detection options. Yeah, set in the wrong model, so fix that. That'd be interesting to see if that works, because that's going to have saved a lot of time in setup if it does, at least for these models that are the same. So let's click play. This time we're not on maximize on play, so we should be able to see this happening. We'll talk about these errors again in a moment. Now they should all set off wandering. So you can see the turn is awful because we don't have a good turn animation. That's not good. Something not right there. Oh, I know what's happening there. Yes, he's doing this. Oh, they're all doing it. That's interesting. I've got something set up in my animation controller incorrectly. Yeah, Adam is a he. Okay, good. I've got to be careful with these screen names. You never quite know whether it is a he or a she or a they. My kids are teaching me about the use of they. So what I think is happening here is I think I have a an attack animation in one of my idle slots. So let's have a look at that. Animations, idles. Yeah, I've got a jump bite in. I obviously incorrectly dragged. Jump around. Now I'm going to have that damn song in my head. Don't know if it came to your part of the world. Forget who it was by now. Alright, so what was I doing? Animations, that's right. I have got the wrong animation in here. So I go down to my wolf. And I got my idles. I don't want jump bite. Idle breathe, idle look around, idle aggressive. I suppose I should put idle aggressive as the combat one, just in case I ever do have him attack. And I don't have an extra one, so let's just remove that one. And then regenerate the animator controller, which should change it in all of them. But just to make sure, I am going to export the profile again. And then if it hasn't changed in the other ones, we can... Oh, I could re-import it, but there's no point, is there? It's just one item. You either a he or a she. Well, no, I'm afraid that's no longer the case. For us old folks, it's hard to understand it, but no, that's not true. I have some people who are neither a he or a she, for various reasons. Sometimes biological, though that's less common, but often it's about equality, which, depending on where you're from in the world, can be exceptionally important. Well, it's exceptionally important everywhere, but the awareness of it can be exceptionally important. Alright, so... I got to admit, though, it's been pretty hard for me to get my head around it. You know, the idea of using the word they it's always meant plural to me, but if you go far enough back in the English language history, it is actually singular in its original usage. So we're only going back to the way it was intended. Alright, so it has... I need to regenerate for these fellas. I've never had to do this before. I don't believe I've made this error before. Oh, attempt to recover animation controller. Oh, this isn't good, is it? I have no UI to fix it. Huh. Well, I still have the settings in my buffer. So let's try this. Look at that. That's good. Now I need to go back here and remove that again. Let me import it actually, because then I know that works, don't I? So that was a bug in the system, but easily recoverable through a happy accident of me having it in my buffer. I could of course gone and got it from my working one. So import. Okay, House of Pain. Not sure what you're referring to there, Adam Hayes. My errors and it failing, maybe. Let's see, are these wandering around now? They are. Are they going to jump? That's the other idle animation, so we're good. Now, one of the limitations of Emerald is that there is no kind of herding or flocking thing. It just relies on the fact that their wander is within a certain region, which is pretty awful if you think about it. I mean, you can just move the center point. Well, actually, you can't, thinking about it, because you don't know where it is. They remember it. It's internal. Now these errors, I've been promising to get rid of these errors. The way that you get the attacks done in Emerald is through animation events. So if it can't find the animation event for an attack, even if you're not using it, it'll give you this error, which is pretty damn annoying for background stuff. So we have to go fix that. It's pretty easy to fix, but it's frustrating. Okay, so I need to go in and I need to find my animation and bring that up onto the right screen. What I need to do is I need to be able to, yes, I always forget this. You can't edit it whilst it's inside an FBX. So you actually have to duplicate it, put it into wherever you want to put it. In my case, into my own folder, so I know that's the one I've edited. And then you can edit it. Open up, come on, there we go. Drag in the model. And now I find the point at which, I need to do it here, at which I want the attack to happen. So it's going to be maybe there. And that is on frame 9. You can see down here. So we go up here, set this to frame 9, insert an event, give the event the name it says you want here, Emerald Attack Event. So you need to just go Emerald, is it no spaces, attack event. All right, and then I need to replace the animation in my controller, which is frustrating because I should have remembered to do it before. Once you've done this once, that's it, you don't have to do it again. But I have to replace it on each of the models, of course. So go to combat and drag my bite animation in. And let's actually change the name of it so we know it's the Emerald Bite. Same thing on each of them here. So what are you folks working on at the moment in Unity? Any exciting projects going on? Anybody entering the Facebook hackathon? Not hackathon. Is it hackathon? Can't remember what they're calling it now. Yeah, hackathon. That's right. That's what they're calling it. Have you heard about the Facebook hackathon? A whole bunch of money on the line. There's a link in the Discord to it. Something like $700,000 worth of prize money. So now we should not be getting those errors. As much as we love to moan about Unity and its assets in terms of setup, config, bugs, etc., you've still managed to get a flipping wolf wandering around in less than 30 minutes. Yep, absolutely. I totally agree. As a hobbyist dev, this is absolutely amazing. I'm absolutely with you on Leadshark, which is why when asked, is it free? I'm like, no, but it's a bargain. Even though I don't use it in production, it is still a bargain for doing that. So let's do something more interesting. Well, not more interesting, but more useful. I haven't actually tried this yet. I now have my cows, deer, sheep and wolves all set up. So I'm going to want to put these into a scene and check that they're actually working as they are right now. So I'm going to export the package. And where are we going to put this? Let's put it. You can see all of my hundreds of projects, and this is after I clean them up as well. Kalmir, and this is going to be wildlife. Adam Hayes is in the 11/11 sale. All right, what you after, Adam Hayes? You got your VPN set up, have you? I'm waiting for the US one. There's going to be so much, so much stuff in the US one that I can't be bothered doing the VPN thing to get through to the 11/11 one. But usually there are some that appear in that don't appear in the US one. So if there's something specific you're wanting, Which controller to work best with? Oh, God. You clearly don't read the Messy Coder Discord very often. If you want an FPS controller, there is no competition. The best FPS controller by... Well, there's just no competition, so it's not the best by anything. Neo FPS. It is amazingly well coded. It feels great. It has loads of flexibility. Yeah, Neo FPS if you want an FPS. If you want third person, though, none of them. They're all rubbish. That's not a helpful answer. I'm very sorry. I have not got one that I've been even remotely happy with. So I build my own, and I'm not remotely happy with them either. So take that as you will. There are a lot of people who like it in Vector. I just find it clumsy. Hey, Shiny. I don't know about the best, but I'll take it. I don't mind. Thank you very much. All right, so when this is exported, we'll show you where to put this. Shiny, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I love making them. I am teaching myself as I go, and I find that making the videos really sort of nails it for me in my mind as to what it is I need to do and what I need to remember. So I'm glad you find them useful. All right, so I'm importing the wildlife package into this package here. Some of you may recognize this scene. It is just the demo scene with Nature Manufacturer's meadow scene. Now, I found that this import and export of packages doesn't always work reliably. It's supposed to bring all the dependencies with it. I often find that it leaves some behind. It leaves shaders, or the shaders don't get compiled properly when they come in, or all sorts of things like that. So let's see what happens this time. Yeah, all the assets I'm using today are paid assets. They're all extremely good value for money, but again, that's relative to what your disposable income is. I mean. Yeah, Nature Manufacturer, I'm not sure the exact price. It's around $40 if I remember correctly. Worth every single penny. It's the best Nature Manufacturer, the publisher, is the best nature asset publisher on the store. So it does seem to have brought in at least some of the animals full pack. So let's try it out. Let's go. First of all, we'll just drag some sheep straight in. Oh, I never set my prefabs up. That's a shame. I can do that, but I must remember to go back and do it. Okay, so there's my cow. Okay, that's a good start. I just put 3 cows on top of each other. Oh no, I only put 1 in, that's right. Cow A, cow B, cow C, and while we're here, a sheep, because sheep like cows, don't they? Alright, now I think I have a camera in this, an autofly camera in this one. Alright, there's our cows. Are they going to walk? I do have an autofly camera. I'll have to fix that. This camera is an automated camera that just wanders around the scene looking for... Well, it's not actively looking for anything. It just kind of wanders around the scene. So that's not helpful. Let's put it onto the minimized view so we can see what those cows are doing. Alright, so it's imported okay, but they're not working. Not walking around. Let's just make some prefabs out of those wolves and see, because I don't believe I actually tested the cows. They're from a previous piece of work that I did. Let's create prefabs out of these. Must remember to do it in the main project as well. Otherwise, I'll forever be updating it with importing. Unload the scene, don't save. All right, let's put the wolves in. Remember, the wolves are not set up with any aggressive behavior or anything, so they're not going to attack the sheep. All right, let's try that. See if the wolves wander around. Oh, I know why they're not wandering. I bet I haven't baked the nav mesh. That'll be what it is. But they do seem to be doing the AI thing because they're moving around. You know, they're animating. So let's check have I baked the nav mesh. The window's not open, so I almost certainly have not. All right, bake. This is going to take a short while. Let's check that the terrain is set up properly. Yep, walkable. I don't know how it's set up. Let's just see. Nature Manufacturer is usually pretty good with having these kinds of conveniences already correctly configured for you. It's going quite quick, so we should be all right here. Ah, it was very quick. All right, let's see how we've done. Well, it's marked out the fence. That's a good sign. That looks okay. Yeah, I think we're okay there. Let's try it, shall we? Do they walk now? I didn't set up any sounds on them either, did I? I should do that. Okay, are they going to walk? There goes the camera. Looks like they're not walking. We do have an error there. None of them are walking. All right, so this might be an import problem. Saying earlier on that the actual export doesn't seem to work particularly well. Let's check these errors out. Okay, object you want to instantiate cannot be null. Emerald AI initializer. Okay, so we have a problem with Emerald AI. I wonder, have I imported Emerald AI into this? No, it is an import problem. It looks like only part of Emerald AI has been imported. So we'll go to the package manager. Emerald AI, and this is 3.0, which is the newer version. In all honesty, I've not found any significant difference between 2.0 and 3.0. There's all sorts of promises on the website about how much different it is. I've not experienced any difference. Not saying there isn't any, there's bound to be some, I've just not found it or needed it. Hey Blitzkrieg, oh, you got lip sync to work Luma. Excellent, I remember you commented, yes. I also integrated it with Amazon Poly. Oh, you did? Excellent. That's been on my list of things to do, and I haven't got round to doing it. I'm impressed. You should write it up, because it doesn't seem complex, but at the same time, the instructions don't seem too clear. So you should write it up, and if you do, I'll turn it into a video, and we can do a partnership there. Or you can make a video if you're into doing such a thing. I want them to walk so bad, says Fabiano. Is it Fabiano? Yeah, Fabiano. I think they're going to walk this time, Fabiano. I think this is it. And then we'll start placing them around the scene. So why am I doing this? There's two reasons why I'm doing it. The one is their background. Yay! There you go, Fabiano, the walking. Just for you. Excellent. So there's two reasons why I'm doing it. The first one is for background AI in a scene for one of my cutscenes. And then the other one is I have another channel that I don't do tutorials on. It's a music channel. And this camera that wanders around in pretty scenes that you're seeing here, I use it for recording. Calling them music videos is a stretch, because it's just a camera wandering around a generated scene. So it's not really a video. It's not in time with the music or anything. But I want to put some wildlife in. I'm going to move on to putting dragons. And somebody commented recently, oh, that forest needs an ant in it. So I figured, okay, yeah, I can do that. So I'll try that. Fabiano's giving me a dance there. Excellent. Blitzkrieg says, I used RT Voice Pro. Yes, great product. I love RT Voice. I have a video on RT Voice, I think. In fact, that might be the video you commented on. All right. So I'll let you know. Working on my prototype right now. Yay! That'd be great to do a collab thing, Blitzkrieg. That'd be awesome. I'm glad you got it working. All right, so let's take these out now that we know they work. And oh no, I want that in. All right. So in this scene, I have this waypoint spawner, right? What it does, let me show you. Pull up and out is all of these areas. It's going to spawn waypoints inside of this big box, right? And it won't spawn them in bad places, which is why it's indicating where they will spawn, won't spawn. It actually will spawn anywhere in between. These indicators are just to give you an idea of what's going on, and they drive the camera. So if I move this over this way and hit play, I'm just going to click off the waypoint spawner because it takes a lot of CPU to calculate where it's going to put these things. But this camera, I'm not controlling this. This is fully automated. So the camera just wanders around, and what it's doing is it's going to those waypoints. So my idea is, and we're going to try it out right now, is that if I spawn in wildlife and have a waypoint on it, then the camera will go and look at the wildlife. Should be pretty cool. So let's try it without spawning randomly first. Let's just put one cow in, and then we're going to go find the waypoints, and we're going to drop one on the cow, and then I'm going to turn the waypoint spawner off. So the only waypoint in the scene is going to be that one on the cow. That's the one I thought I dropped on the cow, isn't it? Yeah, I missed. Put it on the cow, and then reset its position because I clumsily missed. Reset. There we go. So the waypoint is now on the cow. It's probably on the floor, isn't it? Yeah. Let's just bring it up and... Oops. Now moving the cow. Let's move it up sort of to there. All right. Excellent. So let's just see if we've got any other waypoints in this scene because I don't want any of them on. Looks like I don't. So that's good. So if we hit play now, what should happen, if everything is working well, is the camera will only have one waypoint that it can go to. And it will start flying to that cow. It doesn't seem to be working, however. There's a number of reasons why that might be happening. The cow may be too far away from the camera, so let's check that out. The camera follow target is what looks for the waypoints, and that's here. And let's see, steering rig is what actually does it. So yeah, there's no waypoint in here. So I can force this to happen for now as a test by dropping that into there. And the camera should set off. There we go. All right, it should have detected it because it's really close. But the camera is now setting off, and it's going to go and look at the cow. Need to do something about the height it's flying at. That's not ideal, is it? This camera, by the way, is using an asset called... Oh, it's really too low. It doesn't normally go that low. I'm not sure what that's about. It's using an asset called the Sensor Toolkit, which is brilliant. It's really, really good. You just see it coming into view here. These are all array casts to help it navigate in the scene. I'm a little confused as to why it's so low. Shouldn't be that low. So let's put a wolf in the scene. Is it going to detect it? It hasn't done. Okay, well, let's just test like we did before. Make sure I'm not messing anything up. Go to the steering rig, drop that in there. So another thing I've done with this scene as well is I've integrated it fully with Weather Maker, and so it goes off and gets the weather, and it will do a weather forecast for you. So you can sit and watch a scene like this, and it'll tell you in an hour the weather is going to be whatever, which is pretty cool actually. It's kind of mesmerizing of course you can change the speed and so on. So I've actually done some experimental videos of doing a 2-day weather forecast in about 20 minutes. In about a minute, and put them out as a short, which nobody watches because like it's so timely. It doesn't have any staying power for Unity. This is trying to navigate around the fence here, which is, it managed, but there was that little bit of a jerk there. So there's a few things that I've got to sort. It isn't colliding with the fence, so I've made a good progress there, but it isn't quite smoothly navigating around it just yet. So I'll get there. That's actually Cine Machine that's doing that, pulling forward quickly like that. So I just need to tune Cine Machine. But we're not going down into the grass, and the difference here, I don't know if you noticed, it's because the waypoint is much higher. So now if I was to leave this running, it's just going to continually follow that wolf around. So if you can imagine that I set that wolf up as an AI that's going to go hunt rabbits, then we got kind of an interesting setup here. I have all sorts of animals. I've got bears and wolves and all sorts of stuff. So we can have a whole ecosystem going, and then my music will play along constantly in the background while the world just carries on existing. Of course, I'm going to use it in my game as well, but the first thing is to do this with the videos. I can speed up the camera. If I'm following wildlife, I probably want to do that, don't I? So let's give it a higher move force. Let's give it, say, 60. And a stray force of maybe 30. And let's allow it to turn faster too. Let's give it a turn force of 10. And we should, in theory, be able to catch up with the fella now. Yeah, it's still a little bit slow. We'll make it 100. There we go. Just increase the stopping distance a bit. Maybe increase the turn speed a bit too. Stopping distance maybe 5. There we go. That's more like it, isn't it? Get the animations improved a bit. All right. So I'm going to lose all those changes, but that's okay. All right, so why was that not detecting? We have the waypoint sensor here. Oh, it does want to be on the spawn exclusion layer. Well, that's kind of weird. I think I have an import error going on there. Got my layers set up incorrectly. Spawn exclusion is used to prevent things spawning, well, as you might guess, in a certain area. Alright, so let's actually do what we said. Let's have the wolves hunt some rabbits. That'd be interesting. Shall I make him hunt some rabbits, do you think? What do you reckon, chat? I've got deer, I've got wolves. I could focus on spawning randomly a little bit in this one. It isn't detecting, is it? That's interesting. Why is it not detecting? I want to solve that problem first. So if you have an opinion in chat, whether I should set this guy up to go and hunt some, perhaps deer, because the bigger, you'll be able to see them both in this longer grass. And while you're deciding what I should do next, I will try to figure out why this is not detecting. Waypoint sensor. Not detecting anything. Let me turn on the waypoint spawner, because that's going to create these waypoints in. It is detecting those. Right. So I wonder what the difference is. It's on the spawn exclusion zone. It's got a rigid body. It's got the waypoint on it. Let's see what this one looks like. The collider's not on. Why is the collider not on? Oh, all right. So this is likely, yeah, it is. You see, the collider is on here. This is an Emerald problem. Emerald AI doesn't like you to have any colliders that it doesn't control, and so it turns them off. The first time I found this, it took me hours to find it. Fortunately, I've done it before, so I recognize straight away what the problem is. Now, is this an improvement that they've made in version 3, perhaps, that you can have your own colliders? Because it is a huge limitation. All right, let's go and wire up. I'm going to, well, because there's a few points at which I need to wait when I'm wiring up a new AI. So let's go wire up the rabbits, and whilst we're waiting for a few things to happen, I can think about how to fix that problem we're having. But first off, I need to make prefabs of those because they work well. Right, we're going to need a new demo, a new prep scene. Rabbit. I think I've got rabbits in this pack. Must be rabbits in this pack. Save that scene. Alright, and then terrain. We've got terrain, and this is one of the waiting moments when we go to, well, for this terrain it's not going to wait long, is it? But click the bake button. Get that all prepared. And then, well, that's preparing. There's our rabbits. So going to the prefabs. We have just the one rabbit. Diddy little rabbit. Poor little rabbit gonna get eaten. Emerald AI. Right, that's why my layer was missing. I obviously don't have the right layer set up. So I need to check what layer number that is and add it in the other project. So this is going to be a passive. In fact, it's going to be cautious. It's going to run away, isn't it? I think cautious is the one that makes it run away. Or is it passive? Passive. I think it might be passive, actually. We can easily change it later, so it doesn't matter. AI's oh, this is the one that makes it run away. Coward. Passive means it's not. Yeah, cautious. There we go. It's not going to attack. Optimize melee. Set up the AI. Okie dokie. So then we just have to do all of this setup that we had before. So I won't make the same mistakes I made earlier on. I'll try not to. We'll start off with the idles. Sat and breathe would be the main one. Oh, actually, no. Sniffle and around will be the main one. So sat and breathe is going to be the secondary one. So sniffle around. I love that word, sniffle around. What a great name for an idle animation. Okay, that looks good. Movement. So we only have walk on this one, so we're just going to use the same one for everything. There is a Impossible Games asset that will significantly improve these animations. There must be a run. Gallop. That will significantly improve these animations. It's called Spine Animator, and it will allow the spine of this animal to bend when it's turning, And so these very rigid turns that we're going to get, oh, it shouldn't be gallop, it should be walk. These very rigid turns that we're going to get by using the same animation on everything, it will smooth them out. I don't know if we'll get time to add that in tonight, but maybe. So combat movement, copy from non-combat. And in combat, we have to have an animation in, otherwise it gives us an error. So we're not going to make the same mistake. Oh, what's the hop animation? Let's have a look at that. Might want to use that. Oh, yeah. That might be better than... What does a gallop do then? Okay. Not quite sure how I'm going to use the hop in this, because there's no easy way of getting it into this animator controller, so we'll ignore it for now. Attack animations. Does it have an attack? The rabbit doesn't have an attack. Oh. Well, let's find out if they've removed the error then. Let's actually give it no attack animation. And let's see. In the version 2, that would cause an error. And I've just been automatically assuming that it will in version 3 as well. But I guess we should find out, shouldn't we? There's no hit animation. Good death, but no hit. So you can't have an aggressive and powerful rabbit. Alright, so we'll use death for everything then. That could be weird if it doesn't get hit, if it doesn't die with a single hit. But we'll figure it out. Create animation controller. So we're going to go into wildlife, we're going to go into animations, we're going to create a rabbit folder. And have the override controller for the rabbit. Alright, so then we've got a few other things we need to do. Detection and tags. Click the find the head. Looks right, but always check it because it doesn't always get it right. In this case, it's named head, so chances are it's right, but it doesn't always get it right. I think it actually does it from the name, so anyway, always check. Alright, detection and tags, we need to go down, we've done that one, we need to go to factions, that's what we need to do. We're going to say, oh, we could have made it a pet, you could have a pet rabbit. Factions, that's what I wanted. It's not an enemy of the player. We're going to make it an enemy of the animals so that it'll run away. Alright. And I believe that is everything. Let's try it. Hit play. And it's idling. So you see the turn there. Didn't at all look like a turn. Which is what we were saying earlier on. It's gonna look terrible. But you've got to start somewhere. And we don't have a good range of animations for this particular model. But we have a rabbit, and it's running around, and it's doing stuff. It is 2 feet tall. It's just not got a very good... it's not guessed a very good size for its colliders and stuff. I'm not sure where those are. We're not going to worry about that now. It just means it's not going to walk under things. Alright, so what is the layer number this is on? It's on layer 20, so we can fix that. So we're going to save that. And we're going to export that package. And we're going to go to... Actually, I did want to be in Calmere, I think. Nope, I didn't. Unity packages, Calmere, wildlife. Alright. So, let's go back here. So I said there was going to be time for me to think in that, and there wasn't. But never mind. All right, let's delete him from the scene because we're going to test our rabbits as soon as they're ready. Are they still exporting? They are. All right, so let's go into one of these AIs. Oh, layers. Let's do the layers first because that is going to be important. Add a layer, layer 20 AI. Okay, good. And the tag was already there, I believe. Yeah, it adds the tags in automatically for you because the tags are just for coding, so it doesn't really matter. Whereas the layers are for physics. That does matter. All right, so I want to go into the code, don't I, for one of these things. Still waiting for the export to complete. So let's go into the waypoints, sorry, the prefabs. Let's go. One of the problems with Emerald AI is that at least version 2 was highly monolithic. Massive, massive, massive single application with a few helper apps around it, and it looks like it's not changed. Look at this. Oh, it's got a lot smaller. It's only 2,600 lines now. It was a lot larger if I remember correctly. So that's a start. Now what we want to do is let's have a look at all the instances of the word collider, and I'm trying to find where it's turning those colliders off. There, AI box collider. Don't think that's the one. Colliders in area, I don't think that's the one either. No. Okay, in the background here I can see that my export is now completed, so let's go and import that in. While that's importing in, I can continue to look in here. So it's going to be enabled. Don't see anything obvious in this class, at least. So what are the other classes on that object? Let's click the import button there. What are the other classes that it has? AI detection, maybe the initializer script, behaviors, events, look at controller, possibly the initializer script. Let's have a look at that one. Getting the box collider, but it's not a box collider that we're looking for. Actually, searching for get colliders is going to be more effective, isn't it? So get component collider. None. Okay. Let's look in all open documents. Nothing. Huh. Why is it being turned off then? Interesting. All right, well, we've got our rabbits in, so we'll come back to that in a moment. Always like to be making a little bit of progress at each excuse me, at each step of the way. So we should, oh, I forgot to make the damn prefab again. I do it every time, don't I? be loading in the rabbit scene. There is the rabbit scene, and we want to make a prefab out of the rabbit. There it is. Okay, so we can get rid of that scene now. And that one too. And let's put a rabbit in the scene. Why is it not letting me drag a rabbit in? Well, that's kind of weird. Why can't I drag a rabbit in? Oh, it's locked up. Oh, no, that's the game view. Ooh, a tiny little rabbit. Let's, should we make it big? No. Let's put a waypoint on it. I'll go find the waypoints, drag a waypoint on it. It will, of course, get turned off, but we know how to resolve that for test purposes, so that's good. Let's hit play. And go to the camera. Let's speed the camera up. Something like 50, 100, 50, 30, 40, something like that. 40. And then we're going to go find that rabbit, and we're going to tell the camera to go to the rabbit. And the rabbit, there it is, there's the rabbit, you just see it here. Let's make this window bigger. In fact, we can make the window full size, can't we? Got to spot the rabbit in the long grass. Maybe the camera's not fast enough to keep up with the rabbit. There he is. Oh, this is quite cool. I like this. You can't quite see him. I do love the way that a lot of the time the camera just navigates like that through the fence. It has all sorts of sensors and things on it. Well, this is quite cool. Is that rabbit floating? It is a little bit, isn't it? Yeah, it's a little bit. That's the nav mesh not being quite right. Okay, and then the stopping distance, I didn't change that on the camera, did I? Alright, this is a good start. Now, I need to solve that problem of the collider being turned off. What is turning it off? Let's just hit play and see what happens. If we watch it over here, we should see it turn off. Yeah, straight away. That is in one of the start or awake sessions, because that was before the scene had fully initialized. Might not be able to see it on the stream there because of the lower frame rate, but to me that was pretty clear that it was during the on start. Gonna have to find what is turning it off. I'm sure it is in the Emerald AI code. Let's see, can we find a get components? That might be it. I tell you what, why don't I do this? Why don't I search for collider in all open documents, find all. Get component in children for each. Here we go. All initializers. I bet that's it. There it is. That is it. What happens, just for sake of argument? This is just so annoying. Why would you do that? I think that will be it. So let's just save that. I'm sure that they have a reason for doing it in the AI. It's probably something to do with their ragdoll or something, because the ragdoll would require it to have physics on it. So you don't want any colliders that it's not aware of for when it enables the ragdoll, because that will make weird behavior. But to do that is, in my opinion, totally unacceptable. Now it's gone. Now the waypoint is gone. So something else is happening. It's there now. And then when we start, it's gone. Okay, I think that's my code doing that, though. I think that's a bug. And I'm allowed bugs in my code because it isn't released. Oops, I didn't mean to remove it. Let's put that back. I meant to edit the code. Figure out what is closing that, is destroying that. So do we have an on disable? No. Let's create one. Public void. This will just tell us at what stage it is being disabled. No, I just want anything in here because I just want to have a breakpoint, that's all. Okay. Why is it never going to reach it? Oh, it is now. It's compiled, right? Okay. Okay, how are we doing here? There we go. Straight away it gets disabled by something. Yeah, it is my code that's doing it. Look at that. Okay, so it thinks, oh, look at that. There's a spelling error in my method. I won't fix it right here because this isn't my actual code for this. So as soon as it's starting up, it's because it's within the catchment area already of the camera right on the startup. So then it's disabling it, and it doesn't get re-enabled. Current re-enable time is 0. Destroy it. Okay, and if it's not 0, disable it without destroying it, and then that'll get re-enabled afterwards. Okay, so the reason that that is happening is because it's the only waypoint in the scene, so it automatically gets disabled. It happens to be within the catchment area of it at the beginning, so it thinks it's already attached, gone to it, and then it's disabling it. So what we will do is we will go and we will increase the re-enable time to 1, and now it won't disable it, it'll just disable the collider for 1 second, and then it'll go and look at it again. In theory. In practice, okay, it's been disabled. See, there's the rabbit, and now it's re-enabled again, and it's following it. Excellent. We have worked around our problem. So, what do you reckon, folks? We make the wolves come in and attack the rabbits? Maybe put some deer in so we can see them too? Let's see. Sounds like fun to me. Now, we haven't currently set up any of the AI to attack any of the other AI, so that's going to need to be done. Let's go over to our demo environment, or rather our development environment. We don't want our animations, we want our scenes. Let's create a new scene. Actually, let's not do a new scene. Let's put it in the existing wolf scene. All right, chat. Who shall I have the wolves attack? Should it be deer, sheep, rabbits, or cows? I don't know about cows. I don't think they're in the running. Deer, sheep, or rabbits? I think I'll take rabbits out of the running as well because they're too small. I will add them in later on, but we won't be able to see them. So that makes it deer or sheep. Come on, chat. Who wants it? Deer or sheep? Okay, deer it is. So let's, oh, that's a scene. I can't drag a scene into a scene. Let's go get my deer. Where's my deer? I've not created the deer prefabs. So while I'm here, let's do the rabbit prefab. And then let's do the deer. Oh, sheep. Chris, you say sheep. All right. I don't think I left it long enough. I've got to get used to this lag. It seems quite a long lag. So I decided it was going to be deer. Then you said sheep. So it's going to be sheep because you had a vote. But before I do that, I do want to set up the deer as prefabs. Looks like I've only set one of these up. I have, okay. So I'm not going to set that up. That'll remind me to do the other one. All right, sheep, you say. So let's bring in the wolves. Hi, Chris. Anyway, you spoke up as the first one. Yeah, it is a delay. I've got to remember about those delays. If I'm going to ask for something, I have to leave it long enough. Sheep. Let's put the sheep in. Let's make it nice and simple and put it right in front like that. 3 sheep for 3 wolves. Let's see. Well, let's just do 1 sheep and see what happens first. It's too late. You can't change your mind and say deer now. No, you caught up with. I caught up with you, so it's sheep now. I like the flexibility though. That's good. I'm sure we're going to do sheep at some point, or rabbits. No, we'll do them all at some point. I'm getting all excited about this. All right, so I did set up the attack on the animation for the wolf, so that's good. Now I need to make it that the sheep are going to be the enemies. That means that I need to put detection type faction. I'm going to need a new faction. So let's bring that up here. Hey, Christopher. Thank you very much. I'm pleased you like my tutorials. That makes me really happy. I make them because I'm learning, and it helps me learn. It's my learning style. It takes a long time to put them together, and sometimes I just can't be bothered, and other times I really want to nail what it is that I'm doing. Did I notice any major changes in Emerald 3.0? I was talking about that earlier on, and I've just noticed something on this screen which kind of proves my point. No, I've noticed no differences whatsoever in Emerald AI at all. All the annoying, stupid bugs that were in there before are still there. Well, not bugs. It's fairly bug-free. The annoying, stupid design ideas, like disabling all of your colliders, which up until a few moments ago we were debugging, and we've just worked around. But I had to go in and change the code to do that. No logical reason for it, because I'm not using ragdolls. Why can't I have my own colliders on there? Doesn't make sense. If I was using ragdolls, fine, it would make sense, but I should just be able to have them turned off when it's important, not... Anyway, if you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. There's no major changes to the extent that you've got things like this here. Emerald AI Faction Manager version 2.0. All right. I haven't looked recently, but when I opened the documentation for this, it was still the documentation for 2.0. So no. That said, if you own 2, it's a $5 upgrade. Why would you not give the publisher the $5? I mean, that's they just deserve it. Assuming you can afford $5. I appreciate not everybody can. All right, faction name. So animal, we'll call this one Animal Prey. Add that faction. And we're going to change this to Animal Prey. And we're going to have the AI fact. That's changed. I don't know if you saw that. This was an animal before. I added a new faction and it's changed the faction that it was in and the relations. I hope it hasn't done that on all of them. That would be terrible. Or maybe I had this one set up as an NPC. I guess that's possible. Right, so this is going to be Animal Prey, and it's going to be neutral to, it's going to be friendly to them. And then Animal, I guess I should rename that to Hunter, and that's going to be enemy. Right, and let's go back to the faction manager again. I can't rename it. All right, fair enough. Okay, Wolf. Faction manager. This is where we find out if it did move things around or if that's just me remembering things poorly. Well, it has changed it, because this was definitely animal before. It can't have been Animal Prey because it didn't exist. That's disappointing, shall we say. Friendly to animals, enemy to animal prey. So what that means is if you're setting up a complex game with lots of factions in it, you've got to know all your factions in advance of setting up your first one, because it's going to go through and mess up all of your previous ones. That's disappointing. But hey, it's still a bargain at the price it comes at, and is a great prototyping tool. So I shouldn't be too critical of it. We shouldn't expect too much for such a tiny amount of money. And I'd say tiny not because it's relative to our individual incomes and things, but the amount of work that goes into it, the amount of money that the person is being paid for it, it's a tiny amount of money. All right, what am I doing? Detection and tags, factions. If I don't fix this, the wolves will attack the other wolves. We don't want that. And then we're saying one here. Oops, I didn't change the faction for the other one, did I? And we'll pray enemy. I need to go back and change the faction for that one. Okay, I believe we are going to see an effect now. Whether it'll actually kill the sheep at this point, I don't know, because I don't think I've set it up with any damage. But will they go and attack? No, they won't. Okay, probably a layers issue. Probably a layers issue. Detection type trigger. Where is the layer set? Somewhere there is a place where we can set the layers for combat. And I cannot remember. If anybody uses Emerald and can remember where it is, whilst we're here, let's set up the damage. Let's make it 5. Let's make it 5 to 10. We need to remember that when we set the hit points. All right, let's try the docs, eh? Documentation. Let's bring that up here and get it on the screen. All right, so tutorials. Attack animation events, we've done that. All the documentation is the same as well, or at least the headings are the same. There's not any new documentation that I see. Identifying detection issues. That almost certainly is what we want. AI not detecting the targets, even if I enter the detection radius. Layers and tags are explained in this section. Okay. AI is rating. Okay. Oh, I think I know what it is. But let's continue to look in here. I think I've remembered. Tag options. Oh, I missed the second layer down. All right. So I was almost in the right place. Detection and tags, tag and factions, tag options, not faction options. There we go. Okay, Emerald Unity tag, detection layers AI, that's good. Follow a tag, use non-AI tag controls, whether or not the AI will attack non-player objects. Yes, we want to do that. And then non-AI tag. The non-AI Unity tag is another type of tag AI can use. Oh, I think that's new as well. You can now, by the looks of it, you can use tags to identify things rather than factions. So that's handy. All right, but I think as long as my sheep is on the AI layer and tag, it is not on the AI layer. So let's fix that. And let's also apply that across so I don't forget. Let's see. So with that distraction with AI, have I managed to do it? And they've gone into their combat idle, I think. He's kind of attacking. That's sort of weird. But they're doing 0 damage. That's the ones I haven't set some of them up, so that's fine. There we go. One of them was doing damage and the sheep is dead. That was all a bit weird though. I'm not quite sure what that initial thing was all about. So we're good. Almost good. I'm intrigued though because I only changed one of them. How come they all started attacking? I mean, I'm happy, but... Presumably you don't need that set then because they all did the same thing, didn't they? I'm going to set it anyway for consistency. But it seems not to need it. I must have misunderstood the purpose of that. Alright. And then these two are not doing damage yet because I didn't set that up. So let's say 5. And this is the dark one, so let's make him do a bit more damage just for the hell of it. 7 to 15. And the Arctic can do... can do 5 to 10 like your... Right, and then the sheep, it took a little bit of a long time. I don't know. Well, no, there was only one doing damage, so it didn't take that long. I was going to say it takes a little bit long to do damage, but to kill him rather. But I don't think so. I think that seemed okay. Right, there we go. That's better. Died nice and quick. All right, but they're not eating him now. There's a lot of sliding going on there, and they're all floating a little bit too. So let's fix that for these. We noticed that on the sheep, on the rabbit earlier too. Where's the nav mesh agent? There it is. So there's two ways of fixing this. One is efficient, which is to just drop the level of it a little bit, like so. The other one is to bake the height into the nav mesh, which does work nicely. But it is less efficient. So it depends on what you want. Alright, so we are attacking sheep. Shall we put them in the game then? Well, it's not the game, the environment. Let's see what it looks like. Export. Oh, I'm getting tired. I can't remember where things are anymore. Excuse me. Oh, hang on. Before I do that, I need to apply the changes to the... What's it, don't I? Oh dear, I definitely am getting tired. Apply all. Now we can export. And so, Christopher, if you're still here, actually, we were talking about Neo FPS. One of the reasons why I haven't made my commitment, actually, let me just finish getting this export started because this takes a short while. One of the reasons why I haven't yet decided on my AI is because Neo FPS publisher Chris, there's a lot of Chris's around. He is planning on doing his own AI. Once he's finished doing the full body animations, which he needs to do for the AI, because that requires third-party animations, third-person animations, he's going to do an AI solution. And as I was saying earlier, I worship Chris's work. So I hold high hopes for his AI solution. It is going to be focused on FPS, though. So whether it's going to be a replacement for Emerald or not, I don't know. He seems to switch backwards and forwards between it's going to be a generic framework to, no, it's going to be specialized on FPS stuff. So we'll see how it turns out, but that's probably going to be a good solution. All right, so let's start this import. Hey, Thomas. Thanks a lot. Love the project. Right, where are we? We are adding the waypoint on. I wanted to make sure it was high enough above the sheep, which it kind of is. Maybe that's high enough, yeah. All right, so where's the wolf? The wolf is over here. Let's move the wolf back. Move him away a little bit. Yeah, Chris, I'm sure she'll be fine. She's she's just not, you know, she kind of tripped and knocked her head on the door frame, and she's got a bit of a lump there and everything, but she'll be fine. All right, so the wolf, all right, has gone into the kind of attack stance that it did, and then it did that weird attack thing, but there it goes. It's attacking. Looking good. The camera is not moving to it. Right, so let's turn gizmos off in here, actually. Okay, so that was good. We need to figure out how to make it eat the sheep. Emerald can do that. I've never actually done it, though, so not quite sure how. But we have the wolf attacking the sheep. This is looking good. It's not perfect yet, but hey, we're making progress. All right, so loads of sheep. What I wanted to do is not waypoints. Why is it called waypoints? I didn't want that. Camera waypoint animals, I guess. So let's put the sheep in there. Prefab variant. There we go. All right, let's put loads of sheep in. I don't know when you arrived, Yolan, but I was talking about you because you have an Emerald AI open source project where you're collecting configurations, right? Do you still do that? Is it getting anywhere? A smorgasbord of sheep. It certainly is. This wolf here is going to have a smorgasbord of sheep. Let's see what he does. There's some weirdness at the beginning when he starts his attack. He kind of does his growling, which is fine. I don't mind that. But then he kind of attacks nothing, and then he runs over to attack. There he goes. And then he attacks. And he's quite a way away, but there you go, he's going. So he's literally gonna go and kill all of these sheep without eating any of them. It's very wasteful. But that's okay. We need to make him get closer when he's attacking. So he's killed 4 sheep, just like that. My automated camera is not working, which is a bit of a shame. Why is that not working? Alright, the waypoint is not enabled, but that's probably because that sheep is dead. So you haven't touched your Emerald AI thingy in at least a year. Okay. Do you have the Protofactor animals in there? Because that's what I'm doing at the moment, and I'm thinking I should probably contribute them. Although these are all version 3, and you do need to change, you need to do an upgrade to get them to version 2, or rather version 2 to version 3. What's he doing there? Oh, he's found... Ah, he was doing that weirdness before he does. So there we go, we're attacking sheep. Awesome.